go. Thank you for joining us today for the topic of debunking the sales myth. For the few of you that don't know me yet, my name is Dorothy Bosse. Hold on here, technical difficulties. That's me. My name is Dorothy Bosse, and I am the founder of my company, Inspired by Choice. I am a master life coach certified in transformational life and health coaching, and I have with me 20 years of progressive experience in sales and in marketing in corporate Canada. So today I help entrepreneurs such as yourselves to overcome the personal fears that are keeping people from really taking off in their business and in their life. So through offering workshops, talks like this one, and private one-on-one coaching, I help provide the tools, the support, and the accountability to help individuals truly thrive in their business and their lives. So all of my personal contact information is available through this QR code. If we haven't connected yet, I hope that you do connect with me on social media and that you go on my website and sign up for my VIP mailing list. Without further ado, let's delve into the topic of debunking the sales myth. So if you came here and you're interested in this topic, chances are that you have some interesting relationship with sales or some perspectives on sales and yourself. So it's a good place to start to reflect on how do you identify with sales. And I'm not gonna do it the way I normally do it, where I make you do a ton of homework for me on the spot. It's a question that you either have an instinct response to, or maybe one that you can take away and journal on a little bit more. But if you are having any type of struggles and challenges in the selling process, chances are that some of the following thoughts are coming through your inner dialogue, or maybe some of the following are even things that you're saying out loud to others. I am not a salesperson. I would be a terrible salesperson. I can't do sales. I could never do sales. I hate sales. Or I love what I do. I hate having to sell it. Or I hate and cannot stand salespeople. Now, good. I've got some laughter going on, so something is hitting the spot. Fantastic. So if any of these do resonate, what I'm here to tell you is that you're in fact facing an identity crisis around selling. And I'm going to demonstrate to you why. Because you've created for yourself an identity of a person who does not sell, cannot sell, will not sell. And what that does is, if you create a belief around something, then that belief, consciously and very much subconsciously, will affect your thoughts. And all of your thoughts will affect the way you behave and the way you act. And of course, we all know that the way you behave is going to influence the results that you have. And an identity is nothing fancier than our beliefs about ourselves. So if any of these ring true and you have any type of hatred around sales and selling, or you just don't identify with sales and that's ingrained within you, there's an entire subconscious system working against all of your sales efforts. So priority number one for you then becomes ensuring that your identity and beliefs are shifted and reframed to allow you to sell with ease. And the first step to doing that is to really step back and reflect on what specifically bothers you about sales and selling. And this one, again, I'm not going to ask you to work it on the spot, although I'm seeing a little smile on the corner of my screen, so maybe some people already know the answers to these. What is it specifically that bothers you? And if your answer is anything about the sales funnel, so if your answer is it's the prospecting, it's the networking, it's closing the sale, I'm going to challenge you to go deeper and say, okay, what specifically about that bothers you? And if it's another process answer, then go deeper and say, what specifically about that is uncomfortable and bothers you? And keep digging and digging until you get to the core of something about the way you identify and need to show up and feel about something. And I guarantee that once you go through this work, one of two or possibly both emotions will come up. You're either going to uncover some type of fear, And or you're going to discover that you have some disdain or contempt around sales and selling. And the first one, of course, that I'd like to look at is the fears. So the fears is a lineup of our usual suspects. And if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me give talks on most of these already. The first one, of course, being imposter syndrome. And in sales, this one can show up as, well, I'm not a real salesperson, so people will see right through me. Or maybe even, I don't even want to identify as a real salesperson. And of course, very closely tied to imposter syndrome is fear of failure. If I put myself out there and it doesn't go well and I don't sell well, well, then I'm a failure. And then if I'm a failure, then I'm a laughing stock and I don't want that. So I don't want to go out there and experience that. And on the flip side of that is the lesser talked about fear of success. So if I am good and I sell really well and I make all of this money selling, what does that mean about me? What will other people say about me? How will they see me if I become a successful salesperson? Will they talk about me behind my back? What about all this money that I'm going to bring in through the selling process? What does that say about me? Is money dirty? Is making money an uncomfortable experience for me? So all of these I talk about separately, but today there's a new culprit on the scene and one that's very deeply tied to sales. And that one, my friends, you all know as fear of rejection. And we're going to spend a little bit of time chatting about this one in greater detail. But first, let's actually delve into this idea of the sales myth. So what is the sales myth? We all have it. We've collectively decided that sales, when we talk about sales and selling, it is something very specific. And here's some of the reflections back that I'm offering to you around the sales myth. Salespeople are pushy and they put on an act. It takes a very special kind of person to do sales. And you either have it or you don't have it, and only a select few have it. To be good at sales, you absolutely have to be the following. You have to be extroverted. You have to be charismatic. You have to be a smooth talker. And you absolutely have to be relentless. And if you follow that thought process, then it goes a step further and gets really ugly with salespeople are either slick, slimy, and sleazy. And we have some very, very sharp depictions in media, mainstream media, of what that could look like. And this brings up in most of us a feeling of disdain, because none of us want to be told what to do. None of us like to be pressured into anything. And none of us enjoy being lied to, manipulated, or made a fool of. So unconsciously, for many of us, when we have this mixed relationship with sales, we actually have a mixed relationship with some form of this sales myth. And like with anything, like with any other myth, it is based on an element of the truth. Because you do know that there are high performance sales cultures out there that do seek and promote one and many of these elements. But to say that all of sales is this and only this is incorrect. It's not the whole picture. Saying that all of sales is this and only this is like saying friendship is about gossiping about other people behind their backs. Or parenting is all about yelling at your children all the time. Or weight loss is all about starving yourself until you get thin. Like, it is out there. It is a choice that you could make, but it's not the only choice. And it's not necessarily even the best choice. And of course, I want you to get inspired by choice. So let's look at what the other options are out there. You see, your energy introduces you before you even speak. I looked, I can't find which brilliant person said this, but it is so true. Our energy introduces us before we even speak. So we do not gravitate to people and salespeople who are slick and slimy because they're inauthentic. And even if we can't put a finger on it, you will connect to that feeling of, I don't know what it is about that person, but I don't trust them. Something doesn't feel right for me with them. And the truth about the very few and select few is that there are actually very, very few people in this world that can lie to us to our face and for our energy not to pick up on it. For pretty much everybody else, if you're disingenuous, other people will feel it and pick up on it and not enjoy the experience. So let's offer you something else instead. What does actually make a great salesperson that you could relate to? It's actually about us having a strong understanding of the product and service and the problem that it solves. It's pretty straightforward. If you're an entrepreneur, you can get down to that relatively quickly. But if you want to elevate it a notch, you have to have a strong belief in the value of the product or the service. And this one might be your big why. Why are you doing this in the first place? Why are you out there with this in the first place? And the more you believe in the value of it, the more that translates to your audience. Of course, you want to have excellent communication skills, and it's important that you have the ability to articulate and to connect with your audience. That is definitely important. But here's the kicker. Great communication skills in sales are about great questions and active listening, not smooth talking, active listening, getting really curious about what the prospect or the customer is looking for, and then hearing it and delivering the solution to the problem in a way that resonates with them in their language. Because if you're really good at asking great questions and actively listening, then you can start developing strong relationships, which is the next phase of being great at sales. And strong relationships are based off of empathy and emotional intelligence. And they're based on authenticity and creating trust and invoking authenticity and trust from the people that interact with you. And when you see it in that light, you recognize, I don't have to be slimy. I don't have to be sleazy. In fact, it's being and showing up authentically myself that really makes a great salesperson. And to demonstrate that, here's a couple of great saleswomen that I know that demonstrate exactly that. The first time I showed up on a Grow call, I was blown away by how real Laura was. And what you just experienced at the beginning of the call, the genuine conversation. It wasn't a stage. It wasn't like this polished, she's speaking to us from the marketing podium to us little people who just don't get it, and she will bestow her knowledge upon us. It always felt communal and real and authentic, and it felt safe to show up and ask questions. And same with Renee. We tell Renee all the time with her workouts, we show up for the fitness, but we stay for the entertainment because she's real and she's funny and she admits to her own vulnerabilities and she tells us when she's struggling with the workouts that she's taking us through. Authenticity, relationships, honesty, those are the marks of great salesmanship, not charisma and a script that'll just knock your socks off. And the final step and the final quality is possessing resilience and a positive mindset. And yes, of course, this is super important in the face of rejection. So let's now take a look and start addressing this fear of rejection. The next couple of slides I cannot claim as my own. I did put them together, but the knowledge comes from the true rejection expert, Jia Zhang, sorry. Jia Zhang, if you want to look him up on YouTube, if you haven't already, is an author and a speaker, and he did something called the 100-day rejection experiment. Super funny, incredibly knowledgeable. And what he tells us about rejection is that we have this idea, this belief about rejection that is not reflective of reality. Because we believe that rejection is, it's a matter of life and death. If I get rejected, oh my God, it might kill me. It's all about me and how I'm not good enough and how I'm not worthy. And that's it. If I get rejected, it's the end of the conversation. In fact, I'd rather not stick around for the rejection. I'd rather run away before the rejection even happens so that it doesn't kill me. Where in reality, To reject someone is a biological survival tool. We can't say yes to everything. We don't want everything for ourselves. So we have to say no to certain things because it's about us and our needs. It's about the person who's doing the buying and the decisioning and what they need. It's not about you as the person selling to them. And if you're brave enough, the rejection is not the end of the conversation. It can be the beginning of the conversation. And here I offer you a sales thinking reframe. Change your thinking from, in sales, I'm either going to get a yes or I'm going to get rejected, to, in sales, I'm either going to get a yes or I get some marketing research. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So Jia Jiang tells us that the outcome of rejection is influenced by the following: what you are asking, who you are asking, I should say whom actually, I just realized that, whom you are asking, how you are asking, when, where you are asking, why you are asking, and how many times you are asking. So let me drive it home with a super simple example. There's a little kid and the kid wants a cookie. What are you asking? Can I have a cookie? Who you are asking? Well, go ask your mom because I don't have the power to make that decision in this super made up example. How you are asking? May I have a cookie, please? Okay, that might change the outcome. When and where you are asking? You just had ice cream. Maybe if you have your dinner, eat all of your vegetables, then maybe you'll have a cookie. Why you are asking? Is the cookie for you or is it for someone else? That could totally change the circumstance of getting it. And how many times you are asking? Fine, have one and just stop asking me. And this is the space where we as adults get super stuck, right? Because we hate being bothered, we hate being pestered by somebody, and so we don't want to be a pest ourselves, and we don't want to bother other people. So for fear of becoming pestering, what do? We don't ask at all. Or we ask once, and then we run away because we don't want to bother anybody. So we'll look at that even further. But what I really want to drive home with you is with this super simple example of a child, is it very easy for you to see how none of the outcomes had anything to do with the child, their worth, their lovability, their worthiness of having a cookie. It was all about the information and the context for the decision maker. It's all about the decision maker and not the person doing the asking. So let's bring it a step closer to our business world. Let's say, oh, I don't know, you're selling a fitness program. So what you are asking might be, hey, buy my program of X sessions at Y price. Who are you asking? Well, hopefully you're asking your target audience. So those might be people who are looking to get fit, healthy, strong, consistent, etc. How you are asking? Well, you're not gonna likely go out and say, hey, chunky monkey, notice that you put on quite a few pounds over the holidays, time to start to get real and slim on down. Wouldn't take you very far. So you might be asking, hey, I'd like to invite you to join a community. It's a community of like-minded, results-driven professionals such as yourself. And it becomes an invitation, something worth exploring and considering, something to get excited about. When and where you are asking? Well, it might be a peak time to ask around December, January, when people are thinking about new intentions and New Year's resolutions. Of course, why are you asking? Well, you believe that in the program benefits, and you see maybe that this person would be a great fit from a personality perspective. You see how it could all fit together. And then how many times you are asking? And this is a Dorothy personal perspective, but I'd like to offer you at least 3 strikes before you're out. 3 strikes before you're out because you want to give them an invitation and let them reflect on that invitation. And then maybe they didn't have all of the information or they didn't have access to the other person in the decision. And they need you to follow up with them later after they've had some time to reflect and investigate. And if they did that, Maybe you need another circle back with a reminder, because taking it back to when and where you asked them, maybe you reached out to them and they were in a car. And in the car, they didn't have access to their credit card information. And they said, yeah, I'm going to sign up online later, but then they forgot. Or maybe you got a hold of them and they're like, oh, I'm just in the process of trying out this cool trial membership with another gym. Awesome, cool. How long is that trial membership? Oh, it's for a month. Would it be all right with you if I followed up after that month to see how things are going and see if you're still happy? So that how many times and when and where could be interrelated. Now, if all of this is looking familiar, the what, who, how, when, where, it should, because this is what Laura teaches us when we're preparing marketing strategies and marketing messages. And if it's really hard to come up with this for your business or to refine it, the gift here is saying, hey, you know where you can get this information? Through rejection. Because if someone says no to you, you can take an extra second, take a breath. This is not about me. They're not rejecting me, and say, thank you. I respect your decision. I respect your answer. May I just understand, what is it that is what is the circumstance of you saying no today? Is it a timing matter? What is it? And then let them give you a little bit of additional information that can feed your future strategy. So the offering, it's either a yes or it's market research. Stick around to find out more. And those are the sales myth takeaways that I wanted to share with you today. Very, very quick. So I'm giving you a journal prompt. What specifically bothers you about sales and selling? And if it's something about the process, keep digging deeper. Please ensure that your identity and your beliefs allow you to sell with ease. Anything that doesn't fit selling with ease, take some time and reframe it. Address any underlying fears that are keeping you stuck. So if there's some fear of success, failure, imposter syndrome, look at that and start addressing that so that you can be free of those. You don't need to change your personality into some kind of slick, smooth talking manipulator to sell effectively. You're free of that. It's not a burden you have to carry. In fact, you just have to be yourself, authentically you, build trust, build relationship, and listen, really, truly listen. I do invite you to reframe your attitude towards rejection. It's not about me, it's about them. And to do a sales reframe of it's either a yes or it's market research. And always remember, because this is true for sales, but it is true for absolutely anything else in your life. Your beliefs drive your thoughts, which in turn drive your behavior. And your results will always be determined by your behavior. So additional resources that you can take a look at, I do invite you to look at Judging and see everything that's about him on YouTube. There's a few recorded talks, TED Talks. He is hysterical. And 100 days, he took on this challenge, and every day he sought out rejection. He actually looked for absurd situations where people should say no to him, and he was surprised. The more absurd his requests, the more likely people said yes. So explore that. And of course, there's further resources from my own business and my website. I did give a talk on overcoming the fear of success recently. I do have a deck around imposter syndrome for entrepreneurs that I can share. I do have a positive thinking workbook that you can use if positive thinking is new in your life. And of course, if you need additional support, I'm happy to provide that through some private coaching. Here's my contact info again. Thank you all for your attention. And then once we stop recording, we can have an awesome discussion around the topic.